Okay. Vita. I'm gonna show y'all boys where I'm from, man.
And I got a bit of criticism yesterday because I said Gervonta loses rounds. Right? He does lose rounds. People say, oh, he only lost 3 rounds to Frank Martin and he only lost 2 rounds to Ryan Garcia. Well, you know, when was the fight over against Garcia? What round was it? 5th round? 7th, right? Okay, Frank Martin. He lost 3 rounds. When was that fight over? 8? Okay, so loses 1 more. It's all square after 8 rounds. So I'm just saying that Shakur Stevenson is a hell of a lot better than Ryan Garcia and Frank Martin.
I'm not sure about that. When you put in the power that Ryan Garcia possesses.
Mate, I don't know what you've been smoking. I think I'm very disappointed with your knowledge of boxing. If you don't think that Shakur Stevenson is on another level to Frank Martin and Ryan Garcia,
I don't know about Ryan Garcia. And Tank's team puts Ryan Garcia up here at this level 4.
Of course they does, because they fought him and beat him.
No, well, they fought him at a weight that they were comfortable fighting on that.
Mate, honestly, like, Shakur Stevenson is on another level to these guys.
What's the deal, baby? Y'all already know it is. That big bounce out, bounce down, Cape poke through the door. Here to talk to the boxing. Before I get to my soliloquy, remember, tough times don't last. Good people do. Don't know for yourself. Call that minute if I lie. Remember, you matter. Peak game. 84's on what? Swing. Whew. Eddie Hearn, man, he was interviewed, right? And he was asked about Shakur Stevenson. You know, Shakur Stevenson is his new project. That's his new fighter. And Eddie Hearn says, you know, and let me backtrack. They were comparing Gervonta Tank Davis opponents, like Frank Martin, Ryan Garcia, and the list goes on, to Shakur Stevenson. And Eddie Hearn says Shakur Stevenson is better than anybody that Gervonta Tank Davis has faced. He's better than those guys. And I respect his opinion, but I gotta disagree. Right? He also made a comment about Frank Martin, saying Frank Martin is not good. And, you know, Shakur Stevenson is better than Frank Martin. And you heard the reporter say, I disagree with you. And I'm not gonna lie, I used to think Shakur Stevenson is better than Frank Martin, but then I really analyzed it. I don't think Shakur Stevenson is better than Frank Martin. I may get cooked. I don't give a damn. I don't run for no smoke. I'll tell you right now, I don't think Shakur Stevenson is better than Frank Martin. Frank Martin at 135 has fought better competition than Shakur Stevenson has at 135. And I think Frank Martin is a more complete fighter than Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson is a better defensive fighter than Frank Martin. I'll put that. But as far as offensive attack and defensive responsibility, I gotta put it with Frank Martin. I feel like Frank Martin got better feet. Shakur Stevenson knows how to gauge distance well. That's what he does better than Frank Martin. And I think he's a better defensive fighter. But I don't think overall Frank Martin is a better fighter. He's a more complete fighter than Shakur Stevenson at the time, right? Shakur Stevenson has opportunities to, you know, get better. And, you know, me personally, I feel like he capped out, but, you know, but he has opportunities to show, you know, that he's a more complete fighter. Only thing I see from Shakur, and I feel like he takes pride in, is being a defensive fighter. He's even said that in an interview recently I watched. He said, I'm the best defensive fighter. I want to be known as one of the best defensive fighters in boxing. So what does that mean, right? He ain't looking to get off, pause, offensively. He just looking to be the best defensive fighter. You know what I'm saying? So that means that his offensive arsenal, his offensive attack, he's not looking to be great at that. He's just looking to frustrate you defensively. That's it. So I think Frank Martin, truthfully, I think Frank Martin beats Shakur Stevenson. You know, that I look at it. And I know some people gonna probably pull up a video, well, you said Shakur Stevenson could beat Frank Martin in the past. I have. But once I analyzed it, and once I looked at Frank Martin, I'm like, I got Frank. And he also talked about Ryan Garcia. I know I saw one really gonna talk about Ryan Garcia, but Ryan Garcia is a very talented fighter. Okay, unbiasedly, the dude is untalented. Ryan Garcia lock in and get focused, he'll be dangerous. I'm not even gonna hold you. He'll beat a lot of people if Ryan Garcia lock in to get focused, right? You know, you don't got to be a complete fighter to beat certain guys. You know what I'm saying? I told y'all, it's all about your fight plan. I feel like as it pertains to Ryan, he just got a lot of potential. He got a lot of potential that he hasn't chartered into yet. And I feel like that man right there gonna be a problem when it's all said and done. You know, if he gets serious about boxing. If he gets serious about boxing, you're gonna see a lot more of them performances he did against Devin Haney. But he gotta get serious about boxing. You know, he gotta really take it in, pause, and be like, look, I'm finna dedicate myself to the sport of boxing, and he can be a great, you know, start winning championships and things like that. You know what I'm saying? But Ryan has never took the sport of boxing seriously. You know, since he's been a pro that I've seen, he's always kind of focused on other things. You know, so if he's able to take it seriously, I think Ryan, if he fights Shakur, that's a 50-50 fight. That's a dangerous fight. I say I can see a way Ryan can win. I still would pick Shakur in that fight. Now, Eddie Hearn also talked about Gervonta Tank Davis gives up rounds. He pointed out how he gave up rounds against Frank Martin. He gave up rounds against Ryan, you know. And he was like basically saying Gervonta Tank Davis can't do that against a Shakur. This is what Eddie Hearn is missing, right? Eddie Hearn been in a boxing game 15 years, right? According to him, right? As a promoter, right? Being in the boxing game 15 years as a promoter. So he's been real close to the sport of boxing 15 years. Now, he grew up around it. His dad, you know, has owned Matchroom for a long time, you know. But according to him, he's been a promoter for 15 years, you know. So when you're a promoter, you're closely involved with fighters. You get access to sparring and all that other people don't get access to. So Eddie Hearn should know that's a strategy for Gervonta Tank Davis. He should know that, right? Now, he talks about how Tank gives up rounds. You're talking about Shakur Stevenson, who don't let his hands go. So it's not going to matter. It's not going to affect Tank as it pertains to Tank versus Shakur. That's another thing that he is mentioning. Shakur Stevenson don't let his hands go. He's not a fighter that's going to be offensive. He's not going to let his hands go. Shakur Stevenson is a defensive fighter. That's what he is. He's not an offensive fighter. His offensive arsenal is not even that immaculate. It's pretty pedestrian, if you ask me. You know what I'm saying? So you got a defensive fighter versus a complete fighter who got power, right? Who's willing to give up the rounds. Why? Because he know he can cut your lights off at any given time. That's why he give up those rounds. It's a strategy. What are you talking about, Eddie? This is what I be talking about with these dudes. These dudes, man, they be around boxing, they say casual stuff. That would be annoying to me. That's why I be cooking boys, because they say crazy stuff like that. Tank can cut your lights off when he want to. When he want to, he can cut your lights off. Understand that. When he wants to, right? Whenever he want to, he gonna cut your lights off. You remember the Microsoft, the Windows, shut you down. What Gilly say? Tank the electric man. You don't pay your bill, he cut your lights off. Shout out to Gilly. Stop playing, bro. These are the things that I be talking about. This is why I be cooking boys like that. I don't be trying to be on that type of stuff. I be chilling, you know, be relaxing. You know, and you know, I know it's a couple people, you know, that used to rock with Boss, they don't rock with Boss no more because, you know, I be cooking boys. But hey, it is what it is. It has to be done. Somebody got to do it. Because if you give somebody an inch, they're going to take them out. Y'all remember that term when y'all was a kid? You give somebody an inch, they take them out. I'm all about accountability. I'm Mr. Accountability. You know, that goes for myself too. I gotta hold myself accountable. I want people to hold me accountable. Right? That's just real talk. You know what I'm saying? But Eddie, the reason why Tank give up those rounds because he know they can't hurt him. And he know he could cut your lights off. So that Tank versus Shakur fight, if they were to fight, Tank gonna cut his lights off. That's what's gonna happen in that fight. I understand you got Shakur. And this is the thing about Eddie Hearn. And I'm cooking. Eddie Hearn has been with a lot of talented fighters. Pause. But watch how their career run into the ground. Look at Demetrius Andrade. Demetrius Andrade is a very skillful, talented fighter. What happened with him? Don't worry, I'll wait. He went to Eddie Hearn because Eddie Hearn had all the fights at his weight class. Eddie Hearn had the Billy Joe Sanders, all the Smiths, and the Liams and the Niams, and all of all of that, all of it. He had it, right? From 160 to 168, he had it. And Demetrius Andrade didn't get none of the fights. Billy Joe Sanders, yeah, they were supposed to fight, but what happened with that? The boy was test positive with steroids and snorting that stuff in his nose. He was. But so all I'm saying is, we've seen this before, and it's sad to say that's what's gonna happen with Shakur. I'm telling you, Eddie is not gonna deliver, and he gonna run him into the ground. Then they're gonna try to come back and sign with PBC and try to have a last hurrah, and they gonna get sparked. That's just how the cookie crumbles. Look at Demetrius Andrade. He wasted his prime career with Eddie Hearn. Why? He didn't have to do that. He could have just signed PBC earlier. Oh hell, sign Bob Arum. You know what I'm saying? No. You go sign with Eddie Hearn, who don't know nothing about no American boxing. He know UK boxing. He don't know nothing about no American boxing. And it's showing. It's showing. Look what he doing with Boots. It's sad to say, as talented as Boots is, the same thing probably gonna happen to him. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, if Boots don't get control of his career, if he don't get control of his career and tell Eddie, look, I still sign with you, but I want to go work with whoever I want to go work. I want to fight wherever I want to fight. I'm telling you, that's going to be another career wasted. I'm telling you this. Y'all think I'm playing, man. Eddie Hearn do not know nothing about no American boxing. He knows everything about UK boxing. He don't know nothing about no American boxing. And it's going to show, right? He don't even know. Look what he's saying about Tank. Oh, the Tank gives up rounds. Like the fighters are just, they beat. No, Tank letting them get them rounds because he can cut their lights off. Stop playing. Big Boss gone.